another team I want to talk about, because I do think the Lakers have to make a move, but the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks, who Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, they drafted Derek Lively, who's been huge for them.
For sure.
I think they're desperate just because of how their contracts are currently set up, where you have Luka under contract, you re-signed Kyrie, Tim Hardaway is a free agent after next season, and you have Derek Lively on a rookie contract. You also signed like some smaller contracts like Seth Curry to $4 million, Dante Exum, who's been a steal for them at $3 million. But with that second apron, right, we talk about a lot in the offseason, this past offseason, but we haven't talked about it a ton during the season. The Mavericks are not going to have this huge length of time where they could go and just win championship after championship if they're going to have multiple max contracts under their salary cap table. Right now, they have the ability to go out and make a move. And when I look at the top four in the Western Conference, and that's being the Denver Nuggets, the Wolves, OKC, the Clippers, and maybe a tier below the Phoenix Suns, to me, the Dallas Mavericks just don't match up with those teams. And when you have Luka Doncic at his young age, 24, 25 years old, a superstar in this league, one of the best players who, if he was winning more, would be right in that conversation for MVP, I want them to get aggressive and go get somebody. Because if you're able to get a legitimate third person on this team, if they were able, imagine them with OG Anunoby. How amazing this team would be if they had OG. The impact that OG brought to the Knicks, if they were able to make that move for Dallas, it would have been huge.
Fact,
Pascal Siakam, although him and Tyrese haven't played a ton together, you see the impact he's had on the Pacers. So I would love for the Mavericks to be able to go out and make a move. They don't have a plethora of draft picks, but they do have enough to be able to make, an impactful move at the deadline. I don't know if they have enough to get Mikal Bridges, but I think someone of that caliber who could come in, be great on both sides of the ball. I know Mikal maybe has dropped down a bit defensively, but in his role in this scenario as the third offensive option, if he could lock in defensively yet again, which we know he has the skill to do, and still give you, maybe that 18 to 20 offensively, I feel like Dallas really has to make a move because they have the ability to now. They're not going to have it forever.
The Mavericks need to make a move to get better marginally in their rotation. I think P.J. Washington there could be a good move.
But does that move, that's what put them over the hump?
When you have Luka, that puts you over the hump. You just heard Jason Kidd say he's in the realm of Michael Jordan. I believe that. I don't know about you.
If he was in the realm of Michael Jordan, I think we would have seen a little bit more winning for Luka.
Oh, yeah? What did Michael Jordan win this point in his career?
Not missing he was at least making the playoffs.
Michael Jordan went to the playoffs with less than 35 wins one year.
I know Jordan hadn't won yet at this point in his career.
That was year two.
That East was so weak. I mean, listen, I'm not. Of course, Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. Him and LeBron, whatever. But I'm just saying, with Luka, you just need phenomenal role players. They have Luka, Kyrie. Those are the two stars.
Yep.
If you can just get better marginally, because I think Derek Lively's their center of the future. If you can just get players that can shoot and play defense and play their role,
does P.J. Washington put you in the finals conversation? Does P.J. Washington make
P.J. Washington definitely makes them much better.
Does P.J. Washington make them a legit contender to win the championship?
Probably not, but who can't the Mavericks go toe-to-toe with in the West?
I don't think those top four teams in the West can be very difficult to beat.
You don't think the Mavericks?
I'm taking OKC. I'm gonna take the Timberwolves. Denver. The Suns I would probably take as well. The Clippers for sure.
I kind of disagree. I'll be honest. I seen Luka take the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George healthy twice to 7 games.
Oh, to 7.
They went 7
They did go
both
7.
times.
It was 3-1, correct.
It was both times.
Apologize.
I seen him go to 7 both times. Do I think Luka can make the Timberwolves go to 7? That type of series where they struggle with offense, and if Luka just goes nuclear with Kyrie, they can't be an upset against them. Do I not think that they have the experience advantage over OKC and Luka can't go nuclear in a series like that? I mean, I think against those young and inexperienced teams, I think the Mavericks do have a chance. The Nuggets and the Clippers, I think that'll be more of a challenge because they have more experience. But the Mavericks right now, because of how great Luka is, can give anybody a real fight. Not talking about getting swept or losing in 5. I'm talking about a real fight.
He dropped 73 and it was a close game.
But why can't we get past give them a real fight and be like, they should win this series? Not could, but they should win this series.
You think that if they face the Timberwolves that they don't have a legit chance?
I think they are underdogs.
But
the Wolves are the one team in that top 4 just because offensively we've seen them sputter in the fourth quarter.
If the Mavs were to face the Kings, I think they would beat them in the series
but
too.
I don't think the Kings are a legit contender.
I mean, okay, I understand you, but I just think with Luka, with this roster currently, it already puts you at a chance to do something.
Just because they have Luka Doncic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the GM has had that same mindset for the last couple of seasons, and we see what's happened.
If you just get players.
They went to ECF after ECF, one finals appearance. Brad Stevens up there saying, this isn't good enough. Let's go. And look how this team looks.
Because they don't have the
now.
guy at the top that's good enough to do that. And
no,
it's
not.
That's
It's about.
Jason Tatum has had loaded rosters after loaded rosters and can't do nothing.
First of all, I'm not falling
he doesn't win a championship.
He's one of the most winning players.
Why did you lose in the
finals?
Why did you lose in the finals?
He didn't play well. He was 24 years old.
Luka would not choke in that situation.
Luka will never get there, it looks like.
You don't think he'll ever get there?
Luka did not play that good. He did not play that good against the Warriors.
We know Luka's going to finish his career with a championship.
No, in that same run,
at least I know it.
Luka Doncic did not play that well against the Warriors.
I don't want this to be Luka versus Tatum. This is the mindset of the front office saying being good enough is not enough. We need to be great. We want to win a championship. Getting to an ECF is not good enough. This team is loaded. Talking about Boston, this team is loaded. They still went out and got Drew Holiday, who's shooting the highest percentage of 3-point on the Celtics, and KP, who looks like the biggest mismatch in the East right now.
And the team was loaded last year, not as loaded as this year, and you guys was down 0-3
and then what
the
happened?
Heat.
We came back 3-3.
And they lost the series regardless.
But Jason Tatum got hurt.
But you lost the series regardless.
And Jason Tatum was pretty damn great that entire
I'm not making it about Tatum. It's about the mindset.
That's what he's trying to do.
I'm not trying to make it about Tatum. I'm just saying with the Mavericks, they don't need to go get Pascal Siakam, and then that's the move.
But if they get Siakam, are they not a legit finals contender?
Yes,
and if
of course.
So what are we talking about?
I'm not saying maybe that makes them as an overwhelming favorite or one of the top favorites for sure. Well, but if you just make moves around the edges, they can still get much better.
Because with just Luka right now, where I agree he is this unbelievable talent, still the 8th seed. They're still the 8th seed.
They're 8th seed right now.
I think they might be 7th.
They're 7th seed.
They've been flirting in that 7, 8, 6. I think has been the highest.
Right now, they're more in the realm of the 7 to 5
There's a 3-game gap between them and
I understand. My whole point being is
the 7 to 8.
You're trying to give them this puncher's chance, which is fine.
They have more than puncher's chance.
But they would be underdogs against all of the top 4 teams. And honestly, I think they would still be the underdog against the Suns as well.
The game is not played on a spreadsheet though. The game is not played like that. We see upsets happen all the time. And last year, we saw lower seeds advance further in the playoffs.
But that's also different because those teams had older players.
But when you have a player that's as talented as Luka, and then you have a sidekick like Kyrie Irving, OG Anunoby is not an all-star. He's probably the best role player in the game right now, though, and he's probably
next to Derek White.
Above a role player. I think he's more than Derek White, personally. I think what OG Anunoby means.
Understood.
Well, listen.
OG's been insane.
Look at our record. Look at our record.
Derek's been crazy. That's all.
OG Anunoby is a role player, albeit the best role player.
Yeah.
If the Mavericks would have gotten him instead of Pascal Siakam, I think we're all saying they're a legit contender in the West. So I'm just saying, if they can get 2 role players in this trade deadline that probably, they aren't OG, but it's somebody that can take Grant Williams minutes and be much better than Grant Williams. It's somebody that can create offense and also play defense. Maybe a player like Tyus Jones who can make the offense. He's not a good defender, but he can make the offense. It gives the Mavericks a much better chance because they already got the 2 stars at the top. They just need to fill out the roster around them.
To me, Tyus Jones wouldn't make sense for the Mavericks just for the fact of he facilitates the offense. We know who's facilitating the offense.
Just off the bench. You need somebody off the bench.
I gotcha.
That's where I'm alluding to.
I was gonna say, you want to take away one of the shining stars?
I don't think they need any more.
Because if you're the Mavericks, and listen, I do think they're desperate. I mean, Luka has to win. The time is ticking. There's no doubt. But because he's so great, outside of last year, they missed the playoffs, and that's what gave them the top pick. They haven't been losing consistently like OKC with SGA to where they were able to draft Jalen Williams. They were able to draft Chet Holmgren. The OKC Thunder built out the roster by drafting star level talent in a draft. With the Mavericks, they haven't been able to do that because Luka has been so great and he's been carrying a team that hasn't been that talented. And that's why they intentionally tanked last year so they didn't forfeit their pick to the Knicks. And that's what got them Derek Lively.
NBA front office, you're hearing this? Please find the Dallas Mavericks.
I just don't see a move out there for the Mavericks right now that they should pull the trigger on that wouldn't be insanely desperate if they're paying a high price point. I think the only player for them that fits is Kyle Kuzma. And would I rather trade a 2nd-round pick and a player for PJ Washington or 2-3 firsts for Kuzma? To me, it's PJ Washington.
Yeah, 2-3 firsts for Kyle Kuzma.
In that comparison, I think that's fair.
So I feel like right now there's not a player that the Mavericks can really go out and get.